Hello guys, today we are explaining subgiant stars. Now, subgiant stars are stars that no longer can fuse hydrogen in their core and start using a hydrogen shell around their core. Now, through our star's history, it has to have hydrogen in its core to continue fusion throughout its core. As the star ages, it starts to deplete that hydrogen and starts to convert it into helium. Once the star has fully lost all helium in its core, it starts to transition into a subgiant. A subgiant star uses a hydrogen shell that's influenced by the helium shell's immense heat, that causes it to either speed up fusion or slow down fusion. Well, it can't slow down fusion because the core can't cool down. But the core, as it aged, heated up the outer layers around it, causing that outer envelope to become hot enough for hydrogen fusion. This transformation starts at the late terminals main sequence. And we're going to use Minorord as an example. Minorord started out as an average F9V / GOV. If you heard that, I accidentally just hit my It started with a surface temp of 6,100, which it cooled to 6,000 throughout its entire life, and a solar luminosity of 1.25 and a solar radii of 1.05. Then its temperature was 6,000 with solar luminosity of 1.55 and a solar radii of 1.20. Then, when it started to enter the late main sequence and eventually the terminal stage, it had cooled down to 5,900 Kelvin with a solar radii of 1.45 and a solar luminosity of 1.8. Now, during the late main sequence of the terminal main sequence, the star's hydrogen in its core is completely depleted, causing the star to start transitioning into a subgiant star, which is the step before the red giant. Now, we're going to scroll up a bit. Minorords. Now, to explain what's happening in the core of Minorord, we're going to use this part of the info page. Minorord's currently fusing hydrogen into helium in its hydrogen shell because its hydrogen has because its hydrogen has been completely depleted in its core, causing the core to contract and heat up and become even more dense, causing the hydrogen cell's fusion to accelerate. This, as the star ages, its core becomes more dense and dense, causing it to heat up and heat up. With that same mass as it first formed, it becomes so dense that eventually it starts to heat up to immense amounts. And by the end of the star's main giant stage, it'll be starting up CNO fusion. Well, actually later, maybe in the red giant stage. But they still live for a while. This star has, since it's currently 7.57 billion years old and has a full stellar lifetime of 8.6, it has 1.03 billion years left in its lifespan before it becomes a white dwarf. Now, this star is slightly bigger than the sun, so that means it lives slightly less than the sun. Now, the planets are also affected when the star evolves too. Some may have been very habitable worlds in the past, but now are dry, dying worlds, or have been completely sterilized. Or one just maybe holding on to life at the early subgiant, but maybe starting to die. These stars, as they expand, their rotation slows down as a larger star, as its outer layers expand, it becomes larger and larger, slowing down its angular momentum. These star spots are 4,300 to 4,800 Kelvin, and its fact light are 5,600 to 5,800 Kelvin. When the star was younger, its star spots would have been slightly hotter, and its fact light would have been slightly hotter. As a star ages, its expanding outer layers causes it to cool down. Now, since this video is only covering the subgiant stages of stars and explaining them, this is where we're going to end off. Here's a slight glance at a photo of the Minorord system. And now, I'll send you on your way. Goodbye.